Welcome to the RG DFS Tournament Takes podcast. I am pumped up today. I'm your host, Chris Kirkwood, screen name Kirkdiese, and I'm here with the crew who's been giving good picks weekly. I feel like we're just locking in every week. You know, if we just do the right combo, we'll be good. But I'm here with my boy Noto and my boy Beer. But Noto, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, doing good. Been a good season so far. Could have done without the Jaden Daniels injury last week, but other than that, had a good showdown slate. Had a good 2-game slate. So yeah, doing good over here. How are my dudes?
I'm doing all right. So I had a good week on DraftKings. I switched off of my Drake May and Mahomes to Jaden just because it worked so easily, and just a lot of groupthink got to me by the end. But I had a lot of good plays, did fine. Betting was a disaster for me. I had a huge tease with the Broncos -2.5, and so when they missed that extra point so that they could win by 1 point instead of go to overtime, that killed me. But anyways, Beer, how'd you do, my man?
Great week. We talked about Bo Nix, so I ended up on a lot of that, and for 3 quarters, it wasn't looking great, and then he went into Superman mode. So no huge cash, but another profitable week, and we keep stacking those together. We keep talking about we're close. I really, really, really like this slate. I think there's some great spots here, so I'm excited. It's been a fun season. Now we got NBA in the mix as well, so double duty here, but football is king. Let's rock this week.
Yeah, I took the NBA slate off last night to try to get ready for this and UFC and a bunch of things. I was just like, you know what, NBA can wait. But yeah, it's a crazy time. No one has it worse than Noto, who's doing articles left and right, especially for NBA. You do the core plays live, right? And
yeah, still have golf going on.
Oh man.
Yeah. So the MLB first look. Just getting all the
I don't know how you do it. Yeah,
I don't either.
I had the Dodgers last night like a moron. So TJ, you can rub that one in my face. Congratulations, TJ. That was a pretty sick game actually with the grand slam to rip it open. Anyways, we're here for week 8. Yeah, like big picture overview. It's kind of a different slate because the pricing is finally coming around, right?
Yep.
The running backs are hard. It's not just easy to do the jam in Bijan, McCaffrey, and Jonathan Taylor and take some mid-range wide receivers and call it in a low-price quarterback and call it a slate, because we do have great plays all over the place. We've got some decent mid-tier running backs. We got a mispriced running back. We got some decent upside running backs, and we also the QB prices are a little harder. And then wide receiver, we're going to have to talk about Chase, because he's 8,100. So you can't fit all these guys, but you want to. So there's a lot of different ways to go. This usually makes for a good GPP week. So I'm excited about that. But big picture overview, what stands out to you, Noto?
Yeah, it's definitely the pricing. And we're finally back to the point where the expensive running backs are a lot more expensive than the expensive wide receivers. Kind of feels like, 10 years ago when we'd be jamming in David Montgomery, Le'Veon Bell, and then kind of look to save it everywhere else. Like the tight end position's ugly, which feels like an old school slate. And yeah, quarterbacks are starting to get more expensive too. We have a bunch of options under 5K that I'm sure we'll talk about a quarterback to make everything else work. But yeah, it's one of those slates where you kind of got to plug your nose and, don't really feel great about your lineups, but those are the ones we like the best.
Yeah. What stands out to you, Beer?
A lot of injuries, and things we already know, AJ Brown, things we're waiting on. Lamar was looking like he was going to be back, and then he's with the practice squad on Friday. So, and they bring up Huntley, so maybe he doesn't go. So a lot of different injuries. Nico Collins. I mean, we'll kind of riff through them as we go through the positions, but I agree on the pricing. I think it's interesting. I think there's some chalk I don't necessarily agree with, so we'll talk about that. Plenty of low-owned plays that we're going to cover here. Like I said, I really like this slate.
Nice. Well, it feels good. It feels like we're all going to have some good input here. I wanted to say what's up to chat. We never start a show without our boy Don Yeezy in the chat, so it's good to see you, bud. D-Rock's here. Any more will be trickling in, but there is UFC on. There is a lot of college football stuff, but you can always listen on YouTube or on the podcast or whatever. But all right, let's pump out quickly the ad read for this week, and this is what we're constantly doing. We're doing the 3-day pass here at RG. Want to try NFL DFS tools without a full season commitment? For a limited time, get half off 3-day NFL pass and access everything you need to crush the slate. You'll get our optimizer tool, our lineup HQ packed with player projections, ownership projections, and a lot of other things that help you build your lineups. You also get SimLabs NFL, easiest way to build smart, competitive lineups in just a few clicks. All that and more for only $9.99. Don't miss your chance to get a serious edge with our products this week. And if you're ready, just go for it. The Combo Pro, looking to get into NFL DFS access this season. Why not get more bang for your buck with this Combo Pro deal? For a limited time, you can get your first month of Combo Pro for just $79.99. It's only $5 more than an NFL DFS monthly subscription. So don't pass up this elite value. All right. So we will do what we always do. I will go over the week 8 games that stand out from a total perspective. So at the top, we got Dallas at Denver. Denver's 3.5 point favorites at home, coming off of that Superman fourth quarter for Bo Nix to just absolutely demolish the slate. It looked like the absolute worst plays of the slate, and then just took all they needed was one quarter to turn everything around. It was crazy. That's a 15.5 point total. Then there's Chicago at Dallas. Chicago at Baltimore. Sorry. Baltimore, the line has gone down to 3.5 now because there's rumblings from the rap sheet that Lamar may not play because he was taking the practice squad snaps. So I don't know. I bet them early in the week at 6.5, the Bears, thinking that he wasn't going to end up playing. Then I thought I was dead money. Then now I'm back. So I'm back there with that one. So, but we'll see. We'll be waiting for the Schefter because rap sheet's never been quite as reliable through the years. He's definitely made some mistakes. So we will be all over that news. So keep on that. It's down to a 48.5 point total. It dropped a point. Tennessee at the Colts. Colts are 14.5 point favorites, 47.5 point total. Then we've got an exciting game that I know the Blitz will be all over, and that's the Bucks minus 4.5 as they go over to New Orleans in the Dome, 46.5 point total. And then Buffalo off of their bye need to straighten out some things. They're -7 against Carolina in Carolina with a 46.5 point total. Quickly, I look at the Blitz most plays from Cardi. He's got Dallas at Denver, Tampa Bay at New Orleans, and the Jets at Cincy for the most plays. And then over at ETR, their up and pace article, they got Dallas at Denver, Tampa at New Orleans, and New York Jets at Cincy. So they are in lockstep. So 3 games they each like that. So I think that's where a lot of ownership is going to be. I know the Cincy game is definitely going to get a lot, but all right, we will start breaking it down. We'll do running backs first, and then we will go over to QBs, pair that up for our stacks with wide receivers, talk about some tight ends, talk about some defenses, and then build a lineup for the people. And Beer will be the one picking the quarterback this week. So we went Noto. Me, I took last week, and then Beer will get first pick here on how to shape our lineup. Sound good, fellas?
Let's rock.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. So running back position. We've got the big guns, and that is Jonathan Taylor is just electric, massive usage. Great game for him. Massive total. Only thing you may worry about is the blowout, but they've been running this guy when the games have been out of hand anyway, and all of a sudden you turn your head and it's another 30-yard touchdown for Jonathan Taylor. So they've just been awesome. I would have never expected the Colts to be this good with Derek Jones, but they are. They keep doing it. Then we've got Bijan Robinson and Christian McCaffrey, who just got up to another level in that game against the Falcons, one, because of the matchup, but also because Kittle's back and a lot of some other players are back. That kind of opens up the offense. Also, Kittle is a great blocker. So there's that. Then we have some cheaper guys still from a usage standpoint. Rashad White just looks good in the matchup in the Dome. We have options like Achane, Barkley, James Cook always smashes whenever they're been winning or leading all games. So that he's kind of a sneakier play at 6,700 that people don't like to play, but with Buffalo favored by a touchdown here, I think he's a good play. There's Ramondre, who's always good with a big total for touchdowns, but we got a lot of ways to go. So I'll let Noto start it off. Who was your key personnel this week?
Yeah, I guess we'll start with the big three. I don't know if there's like anything separating these guys. I mean, you got Bijan, who's been incredible. I think he's averaging like 60 receiving yards per game. They have McCaffrey, who is on pace to break his own single season reception record for a running back. My favorite's probably Jonathan Taylor, just because, like you mentioned, they've been giving him the ball inside the 5 basically whenever they get down there, even if they're up by a few touchdowns, and Tennessee just doesn't provide much resistance on the defensive end. So, I mean, I love Jonathan Taylor, but, I like Bijan and CMC probably just as much. The question is, are you going to play 2 of them in the same lineup? If you do, you're probably going to be punting at a lot of the same positions as the rest of the field. So in order to be different, I think I'm probably just going to play one of them and then kind of look to save at the other running back positions. I love Rashad White. He's played on 83% of the snaps with Bucky Irving out this year. I like the spot for him against New Orleans. I really like Chase Brown. Finally put up a good game last week, went over 100 yards. I think Joe Flacco is just opening up this offense a little bit. They're 6.5-point favorites at home against the Jets. So he's a guy that I think I'm going to use to get different this week. Yeah, there's a lot of good plays. I mean, Derrick Henry, especially if Lamar's, whether Lamar's out or active, I think he's interesting. You mentioned James Cook, Achane. There's so many good plays. But I think if I had to pick my favorite 3, I'll go Jonathan Taylor, Rashad White, and Chase Brown.
All right. When I was looking at optimals for like the cash right now going on, I think it's going to I think double tight end is even in play now, which would be and just paying up for one of the running backs. So I don't know. There's a lot of different builds I've seen so far. So definitely will be interesting. But who are you liking, Beer?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good options here. So I does feel like a jam them in week. You guys are saying it's tough to get 2 in. I want to try to get 3 of these guys in my lineups. And I think
out.
Okay, figured that was all the signs were there, like we said. I mean, he's working with the scout team. They bring up Huntley from the practice squad. The line changes, so not surprised there. So I'm surprised that they're 1-5 and didn't find a way to get him in the game. They need to win almost every game moving forward, but I guess if he's not ready, he's not ready. So interesting there, but I love this upper tier of running backs. I know it's going to have ownership, and this is a tournament show, but we're going to give you some low-owned options at other spots. So I have Bijan and Jonathan Taylor, 1A, 1B. You can make the case against either one. Bijan, you have Tyler Algier you're dealing with. What does it look like with Kirk Cousins? Another injury note. It sounds like Penix is going to miss. So, but this guy's on pace for 1,000 and 1,000, and we don't see that every day. In fact, we haven't seen that in quite some time. So he is my number 1. Taylor, great spot, huge home favorites. No Simmons for Tennessee is going to help. He might set the touchdown record this year. So they're going to continue to pound this guy. So I have those 2 slightly ahead of Christian McCaffrey. He would be probably the number 2 in that group. And I'm honestly being underweight on McCaffrey this week. I want to get a lot of Bijan, a lot of Taylor. Derrick Henry, 6K on DraftKings.
I was just going to say, we didn't even really talk much about Henry. And like you said, so I guess I want your views also on like the Lamar being out. Does that hurt him?
I was excited. I put him in the video this week and kind of with the purpose of Lamar being back, huge team total, Bears not good against the run. So it dings him a little bit, but we saw what he can do last week. They're going to give him the ball a ton. I think he had 24 carries last week. So it certainly doesn't help. Lamar being in would have helped tremendously, but $6K, guys, on DraftKings. You got to go
Yeah.
back to when my beard didn't have any grays in it to find a price that cheap on Derrick Henry.
That was when he was the backup.
Way back in the day.
To
So
the New England Patriots got to Curtis Martin, or it was.
well, they had the Deion Lewis pairing.
Deion Lewis. That's what I'm talking.
Wasn't it Chris Johnson?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the first guy that wasn't Chris Johnson?
He was. I think it was later. I think he was
after. I don't know. I know Deion Lewis for a fact.
I think he was already washed when Henry.
You had the giant Derrick Henry and the tiny Deion Lewis.
Yeah, it was Deion Lewis, former Patriot.
Yeah,
and they crazy.
So I have him close enough to this big group where I consider him a jam him in. So a lot of my lineups have started Bijan, Taylor, Henry, and go from there. I think there's a lot of value at the wide receiver position, which is tricky, but we have situations we'll talk about that are missing clear alphas in the passing attack. Somebody's going to have to step up there. So I think there's more value wide receivers this week than we normally have. So those are my top three. I really like Saquon. I'm going to continue to do this. And again, I talked about it in the video. Maybe we're banging our head against the wall again. Maybe he truly is, the workload caught up to him, but didn't do well in this matchup against his former employer last time, which was just a couple weeks ago, which doesn't make sense to me, but I like the spot for him. No AJ Brown we'll talk about. I think a lot of people going to go to Smith, going to go to Goddard for good reason, but I'm not going to leave Saquon out of the player pool. Some cheaper, maybe lower owned options. Rachaad White's going to have some ownership, but I do like the spot for him. New Orleans, 9th most DraftKings points allowed. He's really faced a tough schedule here over the last couple weeks, so it really opens up for him here. I agree on the Chase Brown call. I think that's a great one. Finally looked like a guy that we expected him to look like. This offense, maybe with Flacco, they're going to figure some things out. So I like him. And then super loan plays. I think J.K. Dobbins, very interesting in this high total game. Dallas bottom 5 in DraftKings points allowed to the running back position. So he's interesting. And then we have to keep an eye on the Jets situation. I don't want to play Breece Hall, but if Isaiah Davis is in there and Breece Hall is still questionable, that's the best running back matchup on the board. This guy can catch passes. I'm sure he'll have some competition in that backfield, but he could be a super value play at the running back position if Hall's not in this week.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it just seems like you got to just lock Henry in at that price. To me, like this is a good matchup for him too. The Bears are a top 5 schedule adjusted matchup. The line has just dropped to 44.5 right now. I just checked it, and they're Ravens are still favored, only 1.5, but
I don't think they're winning this game now with Lamar out, and that's the Derrick Henry concern is.
But it's like
his splits are drastic. When he's a favorite, they're doing well. His numbers are there. When they're not, the numbers aren't there. And yes, he'll catch a couple passes, but I still like him. I love the matchup with the Bears, as you mentioned. Not good against the run, but really wish Lamar would have been in there.
Yeah, I think they don't really I think they can keep the game close enough to where they'll need Henry is the way I view it. So,
and it might be Huntley over Rush. That might actually help this offense a little more. He's not Lamar, but stylistically, he's much more like Lamar than Cooper Rush is.
I mean, I can pretty much guarantee that the Ravens are going to win because of my closing line value. Closing line value never works for me. It feels good, and then I lose. So.
And then one more name on the list, DeAndre Swift, and I see the chat talking about it. I mean, he's questionable. I think his ownership will be low. This guy's just continues to put up numbers, and Baltimore is getting some pieces back on the defensive end, so it's not going to be as good of a matchup as it normally is. And you have Monangai kind of stealing some things as well, which makes sense. Ben Johnson comes from Detroit, 2 running back system. They've been high on this kid all summer. They may eat away at each other's values, which is the concern, but I think they can they can be in your player pool. I just think there's too many better options. Like they're going to be low owned, but I like them. I'm not super excited about it.
I also like Achane. He had over half of their yards last week from the team standpoint. I think he's just going to get fed, and you get a little bit of a discount to other guys with a workload like him. So I think he's in plays the way you can go for tournaments. I'm trying to think of some other guys that I may like.
Did you guys see the quote from Javonte Williams?
Oh, the revenge.
The girth quote.
No, go read it.
He said, "They'll feel my weight on Sunday. They'll feel my girth. I'm ready to pound them, honestly."
Oh, baby.
So you got some girth and revenge narratives.
Dean, close your ears. Don't get too excited if you're listening, my friend. Don't. But all right. Yeah, that's crazy. That's funny. I mean, you gotta play him. That game should nuke too in general. Williams looked good. He had that one bad week, but who cares? Revenge, I'm in. Absolutely. It's always revenge. I like James Cook. As I said, I like, just trying to look here.
Carolina run D's a lot better. So Cook is, I mean, he's always in the player pool, but it's not the matchup that it used to be.
Dobbins is interesting as someone no one's going to play, and as a way to play that they'll get leverage in that Cowboys Broncos game. God, there's a lot of good plays this week for when we're missing a bunch of bye teams too. All right, anyone else that we missed that you want to get off your chest, or should we move it on over?
I think we can move.
All right, QB. From an ownership perspective, I think now Bo Nix is just going to get a bunch of ownership for good reason. He's cheap. He's $6K. You can do a lot with your lineups. It's that 50.5 point total game in Denver. Dallas offense is full throttle. Their defense is bad. So just good game environment. Then there's Jalen Hurts, I guess, would be kind of the top. He and Josh Allen are the top studs here. Hurts gets the Giants, who are missing some of their second corner and a safety this week. So their defense gets banged up a little bit. Then we've got, if you want to, anybody against the Jets. So especially if you have Jamar Chase. So Joe Flacco is in play. Daniel Jones is in play. Spencer Rattler is going to be the cheapie that I am sure Noto can't wait to play. He always has the good cheapie for us. So I'm sure that's where he's going to be pointing. But Beer, who are your top guys at QB?
I mean, I think Bo Nix is the best play, and it's not chasing last week. This matchup is just incredible, guys. I mean, look at the numbers for Dallas against quarterbacks. Most passing yards allowed, most touchdown passes allowed, most DraftKings points allowed, and the cherry on top, most rushing yards allowed to the quarterback position. So they're historically bad against QBs. So I think he'll get more ownership than we're showing now. Lamar was going to have some ownership. I think some of that will shift over to Bo Nix. So quarterbacks in tournaments, I never really worry about ownership. I mean, we saw, was it 20% on Jaden Daniels is generally the highest you're going to see. So I think he is clearly the top option. I agree on Jalen Hurts. There's a couple clear stacks, and that's something we don't get with a lot of teams. Jalen Hurts with Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Clear top two targets, no argument there. Joe Flacco, clearly Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. So those lay out very nicely. Hurts and Flacco are in play this week. I think Caleb Williams is interesting. A good matchup here with Baltimore. Yes, they've gone to the run more, which is a little concerning, but I like that one a little bit more when Lamar was in, maybe push this team, but I still think Caleb's worth a look. Jackson Dart. What else does he have to do? We talked about this with Drake May. The guy just continued to put up numbers. No one wants to play him. Jackson Dart has done the same, 50 or more rushing yards in 3 or 4 games. Just had a productive game against this Philadelphia team, and he's going to be 1-2% owned. So a guy that can give you that level of upside at that ownership, and maybe you flip the build a little bit. Instead of going Hurts with the stack, you go Jackson Dart with a couple Philadelphia run backs. A lot of interesting ways you can go there. As far as cheapies go, I agree on Spencer Rattler. Tampa Bay bottom 12 in DraftKings points against quarterbacks. Some clear stacking partners there as well we'll get to. And I think Kirk Cousins is interesting. He may be an upgrade over Michael Penix. As excited as everybody was, Kirk Cousins knows that this is it. I get my shot. I get my chance. 4,400. And maybe you want to avoid Bijan. You go with the passing game here for Atlanta. I think Cousins going to do well here. I think that's a way to unlock some of these high-end running backs that you want to play and go cheap with a Kirk Cousins.
I love it. It's an insane matchup, right, against the Dolphins. It's at home in the Dome. You've got elite weapons all over the place. Algiers banged up, right? So we're still. Sounds like he's going to play probably, but he's questionable. So. He's a go.
But and even if you like Bijan, he can be in that stack. The guy's going to have 1,000 yards receiving. So Kirk Cousins just can unlock a lot of things here this week. We'll get to receivers. There's some plays there as well, and the tight ends in play. So very, very a lot of stacking options with Cousins. And
it's not national. It's not an island game. So you get the big boost for Cousins on that. So I'm in. But who do you like, Noto?
Yeah, I like the Cousins call. I actually like playing him with Bijan, just get all the offensive touchdowns for Atlanta. And I mean, Bijan's been so good in the passing game. I like playing those two together. You mentioned Rattler. I think he's in play. He scored at least 11 fantasy points every week. He hasn't had a huge ceiling game, but he's got a little bit of a rushing floor. Tampa Bay is more of a pass funnel matchup. So I like Rattler at 47. If Huntley draws the start at 43, that's going to certainly be interesting. Chicago, one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. And this is a must-win for Baltimore. If they go to 1-6, like they're not going to make the playoffs. So I think they're going to sell out to try to win this game, even if they don't have Lamar. And then like Beer mentioned, I mean, Bo Nix is just head and shoulders the best quarterback play on the slate. It's just whether, you want to spend up a little bit or take your chance with one of these cheaper guys. That's really it for me. I don't know if I'm going to play any. I usually like May and Hurts and some of these other guys, but probably just going to go Nix or one of the real cheap guys.
A little Tyrod Taylor action?
I don't know. No Garrett Wilson.
No weapons. Somebody was saying in chat, and I take offense to it because I'm still I have good feelings for Justin Fields. I don't blame Fields. I blame the Jets. They don't even do designed runs for him, which would be like his biggest strength without Garrett Wilson there. And it's just mind-boggling how bad of an organization this team is year in and year out, no matter what they change. So I don't blame him.
What's the odds on Aaron Glenn getting canned after year one, or maybe not even making it through year one?
Yeah, it should be high, very high. And he just looks clueless.
I thought it was an awful hire. Like, yeah, he did well in Detroit and the defense was improved, but I just did not see him as a head coach. As far as I think it's both, Fields did not play well. They didn't put him in a good situation either. It's just
and he can only throw deep. So like they didn't utilize his strengths, and he certainly can run. So I'm not saying he's great. I like him for DFS if you give him a good coach that can actually play to their strengths. All right. Anyways, I guess the only other, did we mention Baker, other side of in New Orleans?
No, but he's certainly interesting. Another stacking, a lot of ways you can go there.
Yeah, it's because pretty much, after his dud in week 7. So I think it's a good week to go back, obviously, when you're playing the Saints in the Dome there. And they still got Mbuka, and Kate Otten is interesting. White is interesting. So there's plays there for him. And who is it? Tez? What's the guy's name?
Johnson.
Yeah. Totally looks like Christian Kirk out there, like ripping it up. So I like it. All right, let's talk about wide receivers. We got to talk right off the bat about Jamar Chase, most expensive, but probably going to be the highest owned. But the dude scored 41 fantasy points with Flacco last week against Pittsburgh. He had 23 freaking targets. The weekend before, the games before that, he had 12 and 10 targets, which is great, we thought, until you see 23 targets for Jamar Chase. Like anywhere remotely near that, he's this absolute break the slate smash. Only one TD. Imagine he rips off a couple TDs. It could just be lights out. So I like him. I also like T. Higgins. I mean, it's the Jets. And Sauce is out too, right?
Yep. It's a great stack.
Yeah. And it should be chalky, a little bit chalky, but for good reason. You can always find plays to lay around them that make your lineups less owned. So love that stack. Zay Flowers was going to be chalk. I think he's going to plummet now. Devontae Smith with AJ Brown out. Already he was looking potentially like the wide receiver one, as now he is, and so he should be a target machine too. Will be chalk, but I like it. Olave. I mean, you had him last week, I'm sure. Noto, you say you play him every week, right? Like that was a good shot. Oh, yeah. It was a nice week for Olave, 26 fantasy points. So there's still room there. And look, he was 2 yards short of a 100-yard bonus.
Back-to-back weeks, 2 yards short.
Yeah, crazy. Drake London probably gets a boost with Kirk Cousins now. Egbuka, there's Courtland Sutton, number 1 wide receiver for Denver, playing against Dallas. There's some cheap plays available like Shaheed. Diggs is cheap. There's Waddle is cheap. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of plays all over the place. But who do you like, Noto?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why I don't like the too expensive running back build is because I do like a lot of these mid-range and upper-tier wide receivers. You mentioned Jamar Chase. I mean, how great is Joe Flacco? Everywhere he goes, he just elevates his pass catchers. Doesn't win a lot of football games, but we don't care about that in fantasy football. So, yeah, Jamar Chase with no sauce. I like that. Devontae with no AJ Brown against the Giants. Love that. You mentioned Olave. I've been playing him every week. He's still number 2 in the NFL in expected fantasy points per game. We finally saw that come to fruition a little bit last week. Tampa Bay is still a good pass funnel matchup. Love that. Don't know about Drake London. I think the quarterback situation might keep his ownership down a little bit. He's one of those guys that, I mean, the target shares there, the air yard shares there. We've seen him have a couple blow-up games. I like Egbuka quite a bit with no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. I like that game as a whole. So, yeah, a lot of good plays. Tez Johnson in that same game. And, yeah, I'm just having a hard time playing some of the real cheapies like on Houston just because I don't know. There's so many good plays in the mid-tier that I'm having a hard time punting. But, yeah, it's a good position. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I hear you. They still have, who knows? They got Xavier Hutchinson or whatever.
Come on, that guy sucks.
I know.
Let's be honest on Xavier Hutchinson. We know who he is.
You can picture just Stroud having a horrible game too.
For sure. That's any Houston pass catcher, that's the concern.
All right, what do you like in Beer?
I think there's 3 clear. There's always more than that, but to me, 3 options that are going to have ownership. I think Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and Chris Olave are all feel like cash game plays that you can certainly mix into your tournament builds. Like you said, Kirk, there's ways to get different. I think people have the wrong mindset in tournaments sometimes, and if you bring up anybody that's going to be over 15% owned, this is a tournament show. Like you can have some. They're chalk for a reason generally. So I think all 3 of those are great plays. Olave's starting to get more down the field. They're starting to get a little bit more aggressive with him. Let's not forget about Rashid Shaheed. Like I talked about with Barkley, he's always in my player pool because he's one big play away from breaking a slate. So I think he's super interesting this week. I liked Rome Odunze with Lamar potentially back, like I mentioned with Caleb. I still think I'll have a little bit of that passing game. If I'm picking a Houston receiver, guys, I'd really like Jalen Noel. I like what I saw there. Again, Hutchinson is what he is. Higgins hasn't really showed out yet. Noel drafted after Higgins from the same school. He looked good in that game. They utilized him all over the field. 3 catches of 20 or more yards. So they attacked with him down the field and turned that into 7 for 77. So I think he's a great value this week. I think Tez Johnson is a great value. I love Egbuka. Tez, another big play guy. Baker's going to take his shots. No Evans, no Godwin. People are excited about Otten. They're excited about Egbuka. Don't forget about Tez Johnson. You guys brought up Atlanta. I think Darnell Mooney's a fantastic play here as well at just 4,400 in this game against Miami. This Chimere DK, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, from Tennessee, but he's really taken off here. That's a great game script. I mean, they are 95% playing from behind in this game against the Colts. Going to be playing a ton. Ward has shown at least some flashes. So if they're going to be throwing the ball 50 times, there's some value there. And then the Denver guys, Sutton's fine, but I think Mims and Franklin are ways to get a little bit different. If you're playing Bo Nix, they're cheap, both big play guys, and there's not a better defense to go against than the Dallas Cowboys right now. So I think there's a lot of cheap wide receivers. That's why I love the jamming in the running backs and mixing and matching some of these mid to cheap priced wide receivers this week.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I want to give those cheapies, right? Like there are cheapies available if you need them that we've mentioned, like some of the guys from the Texans and also Tez Johnson. But really, to me, I mean, Jamar, I just want Jamar, and I want to do the chalky Cincy stack for sure. That's like my favorite stack. The upside is just massive with Flacco, the amount of passing attempts, and the fact that, you know, you put Dean Shavelson out there under center, and you give him Jamar Chase and T Higgins, and he's gonna how many touchdowns he gonna score?
I would love to see it. I don't know. He ain't scoring any touchdowns, but I would love to see that happen.
Push with Shavelson.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
All right. Yeah, there's so many good plays this week. I've been drinking some of the Kool-Aid with Steph Diggs from a usage standpoint with Drake May. I know Cleveland semi-good defense, pretty good defense, but and just the fact that he had in that bad game when I went to him against New Orleans, the fact that he had a chest injury that game that they didn't really announce, that is why he didn't play as much. So I'm buying into some Diggs because he's so cheap. I like that.
I got a question for Noto while we're in wide receiver. Yeah. What the hell is going on with Brian Thomas Jr.? Seeing some trade rumors here. So I know not on the slate, but what is happening there?
I don't know, man. It's Jags fans are just always on edge over here. Even after a good start, we can't get anything going. So I don't know what's going on. He hasn't had the best season, obviously, but it's ugly. Just
seems crazy to trade a talent like that. I know they want to upgrade their defense, and Travis Hunter finally showed up, but
especially now, like, you're not going to get anything.
No,
not going to get value for him.
Yeah, you're trading at the low end here.
Okay, one dude tournaments, Ted McMillan. I mean, we saw Andy Dalton unlock Deontay Johnson last year. Can he finally get going now that he's got a new quarterback?
Absolutely. I like him.
Yeah, I'm good with it for sure. I don't know that I'm going to play Dalton, but I think as a one-off, or, you know, maybe a little mini with if you wanted to play James Cook. But yeah, I like that shout out.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got a floor anyway. You know, and he's been playing with one of the worst quarterbacks, so Dalton should be able to unlock him from a passing standpoint. So I like that. All right, let's take it over to tight end. Unless you guys have any final darts or anything that you like.
No, just want to hammer home some of the cheapies: Jalen Noel, Tez Johnson, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, all big play guys in good spots.
Yep. All right, tight ends. So Dallas Goedert, whenever A.J. Brown was out, had over double-digit targets in games. So he's 4,200. He's playing the Giants. This game could end up pretty good. It could be the Giants are a lot better now with Dart running the show, and just more electric. They've got more life to their offense, and Philly can certainly. I mean, the game could go either way, to be honest with you, but I think it's a really good spot for Goddard. Dalton Schultz is going to be chalk, and those are like the two double tight ends that people are playing, just because Schultz should have receiver like target, wide receiver 1 targets for 3,300. He had 10 targets and was the focal point last week, the offense, once Nico Collins went down. So put up 18 fantasy, almost 19 fantasy points. Another guy who fell victim to the 2 yards short of 100 yards bonus. So it really could have, for 3,300, I don't have much bad to say. Tyler Warren is a touchdown machine. Like him, George Kittle, after being out of shape in his first game, that he said he was out of shape out there. I know a lot of people on the showdown were excited to play him, and he put up a goose egg. But I think he gets going this week. Plus, it's National Tight Ends Week, right? We
Sure
are.
is.
Beer reminded me of that, and I remembered, and I had $100 bonus bet in my account. I threw it on OG for the first touchdown and smashed it easily. So appreciate Beer for reminding. We were on an NBA show.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Can't forget about national tight end. How good does Gadsden look, by the way?
He's a beast. The problem with I was looking through the lines, and they cooked all the lines for the tight ends. They're on it this year.
Oh, they know it. They know it. They're onto it.
Yeah, but Kittle, Kate Otten has a good opportunity. 3,400 with a bunch of guys out. Kyle Pitts, I like with Cousins. I more just like the matchup against the Dolphins. I don't know who are your favorites, Beer.
I mean, I think Goddard stands out. He's going to have ownership, but Dalton Schultz is one. I get the play. I get the rationale. I can't buy into Dalton Schultz at that kind of ownership. I mean, he's going to rack up receptions. So DraftKings, sure. But that owner's, I'm out on him. So Goddard, 4 games without AJ Brown last season, averaged 6 receptions, 81 yards, 27% target share. He just had a huge game against the Giants. So I think he's the much better play. I know he's more expensive, but again, the Hurts, Devontae, and Goddard, it just seems like the cleanest double stack outside of what we got in Cincinnati. So he's interesting. There are some great low-owned plays here. Kittle coming off the bagel. I think he bounces back in a big way. I think Kyle Pitts is interesting against Miami. You guys mentioned Cade Otton. I really like Colston Loveland this week against Baltimore. If Cole Kmet is out, we've been waiting. I've been waiting, for them to unleash Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. So I think he's a way to go to get you some upside on the cheap. And then Mason Taylor. I know it's been ugly, but there's no better matchup for tight ends right now than Cincinnati. They don't have any pass catchers. He's interesting. I had Likely on my list at 2,600. If Huntley's in there, I still think that's a potential pairing on the cheap. I've been waiting for him to kind of overtake Mark Andrews, but Colston Loveland, the guy that really stands out to me if you're not going Dallas Goedert. But again, Kittle, Pitts, Otten, Taylor, there's a lot of options here this week.
Yep. What are you thinking, Noto?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Beer. Like chalky Dalton Schultz just coming off a 9 for 90 game.
Dude.
I mean, against the Niners too, historically, they've been really good against tight ends. So I'm going to be off of Schultz as well. I love the Loveland call. It does look like Kmet's going to be out. So that's going to be good for him. Baltimore hasn't been great against anyone, but not good against tight ends either. And he's 3K. So it helps you save a little bit from some of the other cheapies. Love Goddard. So does everyone else. I like Cade Otton. I do like Mason Taylor, although the chat is saying Fields is starting. So I like him a little bit less with Fields than I do with Tyrod. But yeah, so many good options. I don't think anybody's going to be paying up if you want to get different.
Let's talk Fields real quick. Kirk, I know you seem to be the biggest fan amongst us. Good matchup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going back to the well?
Well, the problem is, you see, I can't put any faith in them that they're going to do the right thing with him from a game plan and let him run and designed runs. And then also, I mean, Garrett Wilson is massive. That's a huge blow to his fantasy appeal. Also, Taylor's banged up. I know he's been questionable, but trending that he's going to play, I think. But man, if he was out, what the hell would they do?
That's another worry. Do they yank? If the things don't go, it's 17-0 in the first quarter. It's Fields get the old hook. So
17-0. It sounds like a Chase Brown game.
Yeah, it does sound like a Chase. But we've had other games that sounded like a Chase Brown game.
Lots of them.
They all sound.
But I do like him.
Fields' game log 4, 5, 26, 28, 5, 30. Like just
man, if that ain't a GPP play, I don't know what is.
Wild.
Yep, it is. I'm not going to let you guys talk me off Schultz. I think he's going to get targets. We'll see. All right, let's move on over to defense. The Bengals look like the clear play against the Jets, who are cheap. That's going to be the chalk defense. 2,700 is pretty reasonable. Other than that, there's Colts you got to pay up for in a good spot. There is, I could see the Eagles against the Giants at 3,200. I guess the real cheapie would be the other side of that, the Giants. No one wanted to play the Giants last week, but they were looking like a great defensive play for 3 quarters until they absolutely melted down. Get it. Their secondary is a little bit in shambles. They do have that good D line though. It's also a tough matchup, but they're cheap. So I'm always, how low can I go? I would usually go with Browns, but I think New England's going to handle them pretty well here. I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of unless you're going at Cincy or up, it's kind of tough. What are you guys thinking?
I have a few that I like. I like the Colts if I'm spending up. I think obviously Cam Ward has shown he's going to elevate what a defense is going to do. So I think they're a good spend. I'm surprised Atlanta doesn't have more ownership, so I think they could be a high upside defense. You can pair them with Bijan. You don't have to, but Miami's just a disaster right now. I mean, we saw what the damn Browns did, and I know that's an outdoor game, different scenario, but I really like Atlanta. And then a couple I think are going to be low owned. I like your Patriots this week. I think they're in a good spot. As much as we like Spencer Rattler, I'm going to say it every single week. He's a gambler. He's going to take chances. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. I think Tampa Bay is in play. And I think Buffalo is in play this week against Andy Dalton.
Did we mention the Niners?
Nope.
That looks like the spot now with everybody out in Houston. What do you got any Noto?
Yeah, I mean, Texans offense has been bad for a season and a half now. So I like the Niners call. Bengals obviously pair nice with Chase Brown, which I like. Don't mind the Saints. They've performed well at home this season. So I don't know. I'm probably not going to spend more than $2,700 on a defense this week. It's just hard to use that cap there.
And TJ calling out the Bears. I like that call as well. Whether it's Huntley or Rush, this is a significantly worse offense without Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, what's their price? They're 2,600.
Yeah, you're getting a Lamar price. If Lamar's out, the Bears are over 3K. I promise you that. If they knew that in advance.
All right, let's build, boys. Beer, you get to choose the quarterback. Unless you want to, I'll let you make any pick you want, but I kind of like how quarterback steers the lineup.
I mean, I want to start with Bo Nix. I know he's going to have some ownership, but it's just such a good spot for him.
And you get to pick this one, the one stack, the first stack. So do you want? Are you going to go off of Sutton?
Yeah, I like going cheap. So if you guys have a preference, Mims or Franklin, I like them both this week. So you could even do both. That's going to set us up for some big time running backs. We could do a skinny with one of them. I'll leave that up to you guys.
What do you think, Noto?
I've been playing Franklin all season. Let's go with him. I'm fine with the double though.
Yeah, I feel like Mims has to be a double.
Did we talk CD at all?
No, not barely. I think we mentioned him in passing, but
I can avoid Surtain a little bit.
Surtain, that's the only thing.
Well, what about Javonte on this lineup? I don't think he'll have any ownership.
But Surtain will be on Pickens, no?
Yeah, I mean, Lamb's been in the slot less this season, but it's still around 30%.
All right, so let's put Franklin. We're doing the double.
Let's see what it looks like. We can make some adjustments.
Well, all right. So if we're doing the double, who are what do we do? Taylor, Bijan, and see what Taylor, Bijan, and Henry.
Yeah, let's see what it looks like. I think it's doable. The Bears, but we got Henry in there. I
feel like we need one of the Eagles.
Yeah, we need Goddard.
I'd say Goddard. There's some cheap receivers. What do we have? 46.
Do we want Bears D versus Henry?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's not you can do it, but
That's my bad. That's foolish.
Scroll down.
Shaheed.
That's
Shaheed and the
interesting, for
Bengals.
Sure.
Shaheed and the Bengals would in fact work. Yes.
Looks pretty sexy.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
All right, who's throwing it in?
Go for it.
All right. Looks good to me. Let's wrap this one up. Any final words for the people, boys? No.
Oh man, my little one turns 10 tomorrow. My not so little one anymore. So yeah, got some fun Halloween plans. Hope everyone has a good weekend, and let's crush this week.
What's he being for Halloween?
Like everyone else, he's being someone from the K-pop Demon Hunters.
Nice. Beer, final words?
That movie's so good. Those are my final words. Is that movie rocks?
I've only seen like half of it, but it was pretty good.
Also have a birthday coming up. My middle daughter turned 16 on Monday. So another driver, more insurance. I need to win some tournaments just to afford the auto insurance on teenagers. So if there's any elder statesmen in the chat or listening to the show, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys will find out someday. But also, happy Halloween. We'll be joining you the day after Halloween. So hope everybody has a good Halloween, and let's go win some money this week. Feels like we're close. It's coming, boys. So thank you to everybody for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Thanks, Chad. Everyone who showed up. Don Yeezy, Power, Chris Longo, and D-Rock, everyone else who watches the show. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it for sure. Leave your comments and good comments preferably, but leave your comments and let's all make some money this week. So this has been the RG DFS Tournament Take Podcast Week 8. We'll be back next week, same time. So let's go. Thanks.